and welcome to part one of Africa's premier sports video podcast, the Three Quarters Podcast. As usual, remember to jump onto the hashtag 3QP and let us know what you'd like to see on the show. I'm Dominion Duffield.
And I'm Ngaro Kamuya.
So our feature game for the Enterprise Cup A quarterfinals was Impala versus Mwamba.
Yeah.
Now, I remember last week talking about this game and saying, it depends on who's played, whether they both put on strong squads, and then 71-19 to Impala happened.
Yeah.
And I don't think either of us expected that margin.
No.
I would say for Impala supporters, that must have been like an electrifying game. But for Mwamba supporters, obviously, I mean, it just rained tries and rained. I mean, it started off kind of balanced.
Yeah.
And then after that, and that was it. And then the yellow card before halftime for Mwamba.
Yeah.
And that was just it. I mean, the Impala backs had a field day in that game.
Yeah.
And 71-19. How was that game for you?
Like you're saying, it was very close in the beginning. Michael Agavi, of course, being sin-binned. Then Impala Lucid being sin-binned. And then again, Mwamba losing a player. So you can clearly see that there was a problem with regard to discipline. I think two of them were high tackles and one was a breakdown infringement or repeated breakdown infringement. But yes, it was very evenly matched. And then I think Impala just discovered what their strong point was, and their strong point on the day was the backs. Anthony Nyandigisi, Samson Onsomo, Samuel Liech at number 15. We've said this before. I think Samuel Liech's more comfortable position is at number 15, and that's exactly what happened on the day. He hasn't been too effective at 10, neither has he been effective at 13, but at number 15 he was very electric on the day. And what they realized is that Mwamba has a burly set of backs, not the most agile, and when you come up against a backline like Impala's, with the names that I've just mentioned, fleet-footed guys, very fast guys, and that's what they did on the day. Their forwards did what they needed to do, and that was basically just ensure that Onsomo delivers quality ball to the backs. Their breakdowns were secured, their scrums A1, the lineouts were pretty good. Of course, there was noise from all over about the refereeing, but look, we always say the referee plays the ascendancy, and the ascendancy on this day was Impala, and that's what they capitalized on. I was expecting Mwamba to fight, but two tries in, it was even 21-14 or something like that. After that, Impala just took off. Yeah. And at that 6:14 at halftime, it was going to be very tough for Mwamba to come back.
Yeah. You talk about, Impala recognizing their strengths and, especially with the backline and making guys like Horace, who are a bit heavy, heavier set, have to turn, chip behind them, make them turn.
Yes.
And I mean, you're already running towards them,
Yes.
so you've got the, basically you've got the advantage.
Yes.
It felt a little like Mwamba were expecting Collins and Jared to pull something out of the hat, but you can't depend on one person.
No, you can't.
As well as he's been playing,
Yes.
not like against a more like formidable side like Impala, it's a little harder to do those things.
It is a little harder. We saw some flashes of brilliance from Michael Agavi in the first half. Collins and Jared, like you're saying, he'll always be a standout player. He'll always bring something to the game, and that's exactly what happened on the day. Unfortunately, the other 14 or 13 men were unable to, feed off that. And like you're saying, a lot of times Impala's backs did exactly what you're saying. They realized the fact that Horace Otieno was going to have a very difficult time on the open wing. Just chip behind him, and you have fast enough backs. And I think second to, or maybe third this season, in terms of chip kicks. I think Wokoraches are the best. Then you have Eden Agero, and then Samuel Liech. We know how lethal he is on the chip kick, and he had a field day. That's exactly what they did. They while and look, even in international rugby, you realize that, especially with the backs, it's good, yes, to have fast, burly either centers or wingers, but agility is key.
Yeah.
Especially on defense, you need a lot on defense. If you're dealing with smaller, fast, fleet-footed backs, that's where agility comes into play. And unfortunately for Mwamba on the day, it wasn't there. And Impala just dominated them. It was a game, for me, it was a game Impala won because of their backs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So well done to Impala.
Yeah.
Onto the semi-finals. But before that, we had the other game.
Yeah.
We had Cabras beating Nondi's 21-11. That's scoreline, but it's okay. A win is a win. Harlequins beating Black Blood 55-0. No surprise there.
Yeah.
And KCB beating Nakuru 36-16. No surprise there.
No surprise there, true.
So yeah, onto the semis. We've got Cabras playing against Harlequins and Impala playing against KCB, which will be our feature game. How do you think those games will go?
Look, Cabras versus Harlequins, the only reason why I don't want to call it outright for Cabras is the sevens guys are going to be back. And while granted, Cabras do have a plus in Dan Sikuta coming, we have mentioned time and time again that we have seen the difference that Eden Agara has presented Queens or has had at Queens. And I would not want to rule them out on that basis. But Cabras playing at home, I think they're going to be too strong for Queens. For Impala versus KCB, granted Impala did have a good outing versus Mwamba, 71 points on the board. But you're coming up a team that's peaking at the right time. You're coming up against a team that's peaking at the right time. And if KCB are able to keep the intensity, I think we always say forwards are there to give quality ball. They do the dirty work and the backs get a good ball to execute. If KCB come with the intensity that we've seen them on their good days, then they're going to disrupt Impala's forward play. And therefore, Impala's lethal weapon, which is the backs, will be unable to function. So I'll go with KCB on that one.
I think I'd agree with you on the Impala KCB one. Cabras one, I'd agree with you on maybe the way the results will go. But I feel like yes, Eden will be back, but I feel like the rest of the Kenya Harlequin team, not that they don't play, I mean, of course they play well,
yes,
but they really need to like sort of feed off that, vibe off that, and use it to their advantage. Forwards definitely need to set a good platform for the backs. So you've got to go all out in this game. Make sure that, even if you're losing, just don't dip. Kind of like when we had the Nakuru versus Cabras game, and it was very tight up until just last few minutes. And I feel like you just need to keep pushing all the way to the end.
That's
and
true.
See how it goes.
And another thing, at the last meeting, Alex Olabo was still injured. So him coming in at 12, he might be able to neutralize. It's going to be tough. He might be able to neutralize some of the impact that Nick Baraza is going to have. But still, I think it's going to be too tough for Queens. Well, only way to know is by watching the games on the day. So guys, go out, turn up, support your teams. I mean, that's the least you can do. That's the least you can do.
I mean, Enterprise Cup semis, but we have, that's like next week but one. But we do have the Nats 10s, Nakuru 10s tournament coming up this weekend. Guys, go down to Nakuru. It's 2-3 hours away. Drive. No, it's not 2-3 hours in a matatu.
It's Easter weekend, so it's going to be 4.
I can imagine the traffic on that day. So go and then spend the night there, because I mean that's the whole fun of it.
That's the whole fun about. That's the whole fun story about Nakuru Tens. Of course, granted the tournament has dipped over the years, but we hope that they can be able to revive it.
Definitely. So guys, turn up, support your teams. Remember, you can find us on social media. That is by following us on Instagram, liking our page on Facebook, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. I'm Jemima Duffield.
And I'm Ngara Kamuya.
See you in part 2.